The first 1.17 snapshot is here. 20w45a has just dropped, and there's lots of new stuff. There's 1.17 stuff. This is literally 2 days after 1.16.4 was released, and I'm going to show you everything new that has been added in this snapshot. There's only maybe about the third of the content, or yeah, something like that was mentioned in the actual update. There's no train generation differences yet, although there is the amethyst crystal structures, but no fancy caves or mountains yet. But we do have lots of blocks and lots of other things. Some things that weren't even shown very much in the update that I'm extremely excited for. So let's start right off with this. So for new blocks, we've got calcite and tuff, both of which generate in areas around the amethyst crystal geo thingies. And so these generate in somewhat large quantities. They just generate around in layers the amethyst crystals, and I'll show you that more later when I show you the structure. And a new addition that was not mentioned was tinted glass, and it's created from, well, let's take a look. If we search tinted glass, it's amethyst shards surrounding normal glass, and apparently what this does is it does not let in normal light. So theoretically, if we were to do this and go in here, the light level is 0. You can see through it, but it does not let light in. This is gonna be so good for mob farms. I've always wanted a block like this, so you could like make your base near a dungeon spawner and still have it active, and also have your base lit up. So that's gonna be amazing. I'm super excited for this, and it just looks really good as well. Next up, we've got ourselves a copper ore, which we saw that in the update already, but it is nice to see it here. It has that little flecks of green in it and the orange color. And something I was slightly surprised by is that the copper ore does not seem to generate at higher altitudes, at least not right now. These are the just normal mountains. They're not the new train generation mountains, so maybe we'll see copper at higher altitudes later, but it does not seem to be higher up like coal. Yes, here is a bit of copper ore here. You can see that we have this copper here, and there's actually diamonds over there, but it seems like it doesn't really generate in special veins or anything at the moment. It just seems to generate in the normal ore patterns like other ores do, and it seems slightly less common than iron. Or moving right on from that, we have the various stages of copper blocks here. We've got I think this is, let's see, weathered, lightly weathered, or semi-weathered, and then this is weathered. So 4 different stages of copper. It actually looks different than it did in the update, so the textures are different. I don't know if that's going to change or what's going to happen with that, but we also have cut copper, and we have the 4 stages of that. We have cut copper stairs, 4 stages, and 4 stages of cut copper slabs, and they're all like labeled the same, just with slabs. But one thing that I noticed was if you search up waxed copper, all of these exist in waxed form, and I checked and like, see if we just look at this, the texture is the exact same from what I can tell. However, I'm assuming this is what stops the actual copper from weathering. So it's created with honeycomb, meaning that there's a new use for honeycomb, a reason to get bee farms and all that good stuff. So that'll probably stop the copper from aging. And now moving on from the copper, we saw some candle-like things that were in the actual trailer, but there's literally 16 colors of candles, and they all sort of form like this. So you can put 1, 2, or 3 in a block. Wait, you can put 4? I actually hadn't tried putting 4. Okay, you can literally put 3 and 4 in one singular block. We've got just, these are the normal candles. We've got white, orange, black, all of the existing colors down here. And the great thing about them is you probably noticed they're not lit yet. If you use flint and steel, it lights them like that. You can just go down the line right clicking and all of the candles will be lit up and start emitting light. And I'm actually gonna change the time to night here, and I'll show you the actual light levels that they emit, because I checked that. So one singular lit candle here only emits a light level of basically 3 on this block, or quickly goes to almost nothing. This is not even enough to stop mobs from spawning. But if you put 2 down, and also if you already have a candle lit and you put another down, it just automatically lights the other candle. 2 candles, you have a light level of 6 on the block, or 5 around it. So that's still not really enough to help monster spawning. 3 is better. 3, you have a light level of 8 and 9 in the very center. And then with 4, I think it's a light level of 12. So it's not quite the same as torches, because torches Torches are a light level of 14, I believe. Yes, they're level 14, whereas this goes only to level 12. So if you have 4 in one block, that's enough to prevent mob spawning in a very small radius. But I think people will be using these for decorational purposes primarily. I know I will. I'm really hyped to use the candles. I was not expecting that. I'm very excited. Also, this leads nicely into the next set of blocks. We have the various stages of amethyst buds. We have the small, medium, large, and then the amethyst cluster. So these are the buds, and this is the cluster. And I did a lot of stuff with this already. I was already working on trying to make a farm for it. I haven't been quite successful yet, but I did discover some interesting properties. And there's actually something that's good here. There's actually 2 different types of the amethyst blocks. There's the block of amethyst, and then there's the budding amethyst. And these look slightly different from the amethyst blocks. And these are not harvestable. You can go into survival, you can break it, it drops nothing. But the blocks of amethyst are actually harvestable, so there's mostly blocks of amethyst in the geode structures, but there's a few budding amethysts scattered throughout. And you can see here, if I break all of these and we turn the tick speed, I don't know, up to 2,000, we'll see that this will start growing the amethyst buds on the sides like that. And they do not grow fast. I mean, I have the tick speed set to 2,000. It's normally set to 3, and it's growing at an okay rate right now. But it is not a fast process, so it is slow to grow. And finally, we have the lightning rod. The lightning rod, and I noticed it's listed under redstone, and I tested it, and I haven't been able to get a lightning bolt to strike this yet by itself. But if you summon a lightning bolt, it'll go on to that. And something I saw is that redstone connects to it, and if we stand on top of it, you'll see that it powers the redstone. But it's not a 1-tick pulse. I tested it with a piston, barely not a 1-tick pulse, so it's probably like a 2 or 3-tick pulse there. So it does actually power redstone. I didn't realize that. I wasn't really aware that's going to be a feature, but I guess lightning bolt detector, I'm sure there'll be uses for that we can find, possibly related to the charged creeper farm that I may be making very, very soon, like probably in a couple days, along with the amethyst crystals farm. I'm going to be working hard on that. But that's about all for the blocks. So let's move on to the items and then the changes. So for items, you've seen some of them already. We have the amethyst shards, and these just drop from amethyst clusters. So one thing I noticed with the amethyst clusters is that you can place them on any surface, and you can harvest them like this with a pickaxe. But what if we were to enchant this with Silk Touch? I actually haven't tried this yet. Silk Touch, it allows you to pick up the actual cluster. So Silk Touch will pick it up, and just unenchanted will just break it. It'll give you the shards. And I was messing around with the pistons related to the amethyst crystal things and the buds, and I discovered some interesting properties about this. They'll make making a farm difficult, at least at the moment. If you power that, it literally just pushes the crystal. It doesn't break the crystal. When I was experimenting over here, this is not actually functional yet, but I was able to make the piston actually break the crystals and drop the items. So it does drop the items if you can get it to actually break. And I think it may only break if it's pushed at like the same second or the same tick that it's grown. So it's pretty difficult considering that there's multiple stages of growth here. So that'll be a challenge, but one that I'm willing to take up to make a farm for that. Another pleasant surprise was the bundles being added, and I've done some testing with this. You can put a ton of different items here. We can just fill this thing up. Some of this I may want, but however, I noticed that you can only put in 1 stack of items into it. As you can see, all of that will add up to 1 stack. You can put in 64 items max, but I think you can put in 64 different types of items. Let me finish testing. There are, I think, probably like 63 different types of items here. There might be a couple of each, but it's pretty safe to say that we can put in 64 different types of items here. However, you cannot put in items that are non-stackable. So I'll show you if we get ourselves another bundle. Anything that's not stackable cannot go in, which is unfortunate, like lava buckets. What? Apparently you can put 1 singular non-stackable item into the bundle. 1 singular non-stackable item. Like I could put that in, but that's not terribly useful. You can put in just one type of non-stackable item. So like this bundle here, you can put in a few items like this, and then I guess you can't put in another non-stackable item. So it's a little bit weird. It's not really helpful. You're not going to be putting non-stackable items in. But also, if you want to empty the bundle, just right click and it'll all come out. But careful, if you have a full bundle and you right click, then yep, if you can't hold all of it, it will just get flung out of your inventory just like that. So you gotta be careful. I learned that the hard way a moment ago. But anyways, yeah, that's about it for the bundles for the time being. Gonna be useful, I think, but it's too bad that you can't put in non-stackable items. Yeah, we also just have a copper ingot. Obviously, you can get that from smelting copper ore. There's not too much you can craft with it right now, except for, I think, you can obviously make copper blocks with it. And you can also make the lightning rod and stuff like that. Let's actually check the recipe for that. If we check here, we can make the spyglass with it, and this stuff with our copper block is just 9 copper ingots. And what about the lightning rod? It's just 3 copper ingots. So that's what we can craft with the copper for the time being. No tools or weapons or armor at the moment. Maybe we'll get that at some point. That would be nice. I'd like to seize that, but I'm not sure. And also, finally, for the items, we have the spyglass. And the animation looks really funny when you go into F5 and you zoom in so far. I feel like this is a little bit farther than what was shown in the video, like the announcement. It feels farther. I could be wrong, but it's a pretty serious zoom in. This is definitely for all you Optifine users, and I can say this because I'm one of them. It's not going to be redundant because it can zoom in so much farther than the Optifine zoom. The Optifine zoom is like maybe like a third of this, so it's not redundant, that's for sure. Anyways, that's pretty cool. It's going to be nice to use that. And now, let's move on to the changes. So there are some changes that I saw. And one of them is apparently when multiple shulkers, if they hit each other with their shulker, like bullet things, they can actually spawn new shulkers and duplicate each other. Yeah, let's see if we can get this to happen here. So I have 2 shulkers, and I want that shulker to the other shulker. Okay, so if I get these guys to hit each other, supposedly there's a chance of spawning a new shulker. I don't know how big of a chance that is. Oh, see, it just spawned another shulker. Okay, so it did actually just work. It seems like the chance is pretty high then. This means we could actually make a shulker farm, I think. I think you could actually make a shulker farm with this if the chance is high enough. I'll have to do more testing, but it does seem that the chance is high enough that it'll spawn another shulker from each shulker. I think it's gonna work. This is insane. Another small thing but a quality of life thing is you can actually make the simple firework rockets in the like in the crafting book now, so it's just a little bit of quality of life. Makes it a little bit easier making the firework rocket, so that'll be good. But also it seems that experience orbs will combine into just like a few larger. It doesn't actually increase the level of experience that you get, but it just combines for better performance. So if we throw a ton of these down, I want to see these start combining. Let's see. It's difficult to tell. It's hard. I can't tell if these are combining or not. I'm just gonna trust that's a thing. Maybe it'll probably be discovered with more testing and all that stuff. But yeah, this right here looks very illegal, doesn't it? But it is a waterlogged rail with a minecart on it, and you can use minecarts underwater now. It's a thing. I never thought this would be a thing, but check this out. Rails underwater. Minecart underwater, incredibly slow. What about powered rails? I haven't tried the powered rails. Let's try powered rails underwater. I never thought this would be a thing in Minecraft. I've played Minecraft for a long time, and I did not foresee this. Powered rails underwater, minecarts, yay! This is probably going to be useful for farms, I expect, but good grief, was not expecting that. Anyways, this is a quality of life change, one that I greatly approve of. You can now turn any of those 4 dirt types into grass paths. You don't need grass. It's now just dirt path. And this change here, it's kind of a change, kind of an addition, but you can put a candle in a cake now. Birthday cake time. You can actually do it. Then you can light the candle, and yeah, I think the candle breaks once you start eating a cake. Yeah, it does. So Let's put another cake down. I like that. And also our final change here is lava cauldrons. You can put lava in cauldrons. I think it emits a signal strength of like 1 or something. It may be with the comparator. I think it emits a signal. Yeah, it does emit a signal strength of 1. Anyways, that's it for the changes, blocks, and items. However, there's one thing I haven't shown you yet, and that is the structures underground. There are the geode structures, the amethyst thingies, and they've kind of gone berserk because I've changed the take speed up and down when experimenting. So you can see here that we have the other 2 types of stone surrounding this, and if we go into creative, you'll see that these are amethyst blocks. Then you've got the amethyst, the budding amethysts, and so there's actually 2 different types of them, and they don't spawn that infrequently. There's also a good amount of stone. Like, there's not a little bit of stone around here. There's a good amount of it, and they're not incredibly rare either. Like, if we go into spectator mode, I just tried to zoom. I can't zoom with the spyglass. No, not spectator. There's obviously the one right there, but I think there might be one over there. They're not the rarest thing. They're not the most common thing, but there's like 3 of them right here, all within like 50 blocks, maybe 100 blocks. So they're not incredibly rare, but that's about it for the structures. Obviously this is just the very first snapshot. Stuff is liable to change, and mechanics will be added, new stuff will be added later on, but I'm really hyped. I was not expecting 16 colors of candles, technically 17 counting just the base candle. Actually, I want to see, is there a crafting recipe for candles? I didn't check. Can I make candles? You can. So it's just string and a honeycomb for candles, and I'm assuming you can use combined dye with that. That's how you get the colored candles. So yep, more uses for wax, or I actually guess it's honeycomb. I keep calling it wax. That's honeycomb. But anyways, yeah, that's all for this snapshot. There will definitely be videos like in the very near future, like the next couple days, where I make some new farms that are going to be pretty epic. Shulker farm, I'll have to see if that's a thing. It could be a thing now. It really could. Maybe amethyst farm. I'm going to continue working on this. I was like done in 10 minutes. Yeah, charge creeper farms, all that stuff will be good. And if you enjoyed this video and want to see more like it, then consider subscribing with notifications on and hitting that like button so that YouTube knows that you like this video. But that's going to be it for today, guys. I've been Sbeev. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video or live stream. Bye.